Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We are back with another game week preview. It's me, Janny and regular co-host, Mr. Dean Jones. Dean, how are you, mate?
Very good, mate. Appreciate this time difference at the moment. It's 7 a.m. here in San Diego, as opposed to me normally being up at 6 a.m. for this show. So, I appreciate whoever came up with giving us an extra week in between us changing our clocks here in America.
So yours changed next Sunday, right? Or this Sunday?
It's this Sunday. I think
This
it's this
Sunday,
Sunday.
okay.
Yeah.
So literally for 1 week, you get that grace period. I was thinking if I was going on, because I'm going to Miami the week after next, and I was thinking if I'd gone this week, it would have only been 4
It
hour
would have
difference,
been,
not
yeah.
5. So like, if you can time a trip for jet lag reasons, it might be worth timing a trip for that 1 week if you're going across the pond.
Absolutely would be, mate.
Yeah.
That would be recommended if anyone does that in the future. But yeah, what are we thinking, mate? I mean, I keep looking at my team and I'm like, I've got no idea anymore. I don't have any idea if this is going to be good. I think I just keep faith in them. I think I just keep them all going. I still haven't pressed the wildcard button, and I think I'm just going to wait it out now and wait till we get. Dylan's just written "Hi, Dad" in the comments. He is in bed on my iPad or his iPad. He would want me to say, "Hi, Dylan. Good morning, mate." He did tell me that he was going to wake up and stick the iPad on and watch the show. So there we go. We've got Dylan in after obviously helping with my team.
Congrats on your 9 goals, Dylan, the other week. That is awesome form. Well played, mate.
He will love you saying that. Brian says no more rats. No, we didn't. No more rats, but Dylan knows this. We did have a mouse this week in the house. Obviously not as much of a concern. But I went to the sofa. It's got one of those things where you open it up and you can keep stuff underneath, you know. So I pulled the sofa up to get a blanket out, and as I threw it down, this mouse ran across the lounge into the fireplace. I was like, Then saw where it ran into, and I was like, oh, we've got an actual hole that leads
That'll be it.
That'll be it. Yeah. So I was like, I can deal with this one myself. So plugged that up, and we haven't seen the mouse since. So
I like that.
We figured that out. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good to know. Hello to everyone in the chat. If you've got questions, we will have plenty of time for that later. I think we've got Big Man joining us today as well. Have we? I've not actually checked that.
Yeah.
We're going to be showing all 3 of our teams.
I mean, he's interesting now because Bruno's going to be reborn. So
yes, mate. Big Man's team. He's not only got Bruno and clearly going to hold him, which looks good now, but also he is. When we spoke on yesterday, he's very close to selling Haaland. He's selling Haaland for Salah. He's got the free transfers, but he was I think he said he was 60-70% likely to do it. So let's see where that percentage chance is today. I expect he'll go through with it. Let's see, which I love because then our teams will be very, very different, which is great. And fair play to Big Man thinking a little bit differently. I do think Salah is the best captaincy option this week. Salah at home to Brighton is a better fixture than Haaland on the road to Bournemouth, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it probably is. I mean, I've obviously got the dilemma. I've got both of them. So,
yeah, of course you have.
At the moment, I've got it on Haaland. I understand that captaining Haaland doesn't really make much sense at the moment. They're not in great form. Haaland looks at his limit. They're without Savio, Grealish, Doku, Bob, Kevin De Bruyne. At least we know he's going to play. One of the problems we have with Haaland is we're never sure if he's going to play. He's definitely playing.
He has to. They've only got about 11 fit senior players, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan said, and we also had a lizard, Dad. Yeah, we have had a lizard in the house as well, mate. You're right. His typing's very good. He's only 6. He's doing well here in the chat. But yeah, so this is the thing with Haaland, mate. Again, it comes back to overthinking, and he's playing Bournemouth, and there is obviously a possibility this doesn't go well for Man City, this fixture. They don't look like peak Man City, etc., etc. But then you're but they are playing Bournemouth and they are Man City.
Yeah, but aren't Bournemouth at home? I just think back to the Chelsea game, which I watched live and was but Chelsea had real problems against Bournemouth. And then I think to the Arsenal game, I know Arsenal had Saliba sent off, but they didn't offer much. And Bournemouth were very comfortable and won the game. And I'm are Bournemouth way better than we think, especially at home?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the home table now. Bournemouth are the 9th best team at home so far this season. let's just look at. They've scored 6. They've only conceded 3 goals from their 4 games.
Yeah.
So that kind of backs it up a bit. It's not an easy place
against Chelsea. And then they conceded to Newcastle. I think Newcastle-Bournemouth might have been a draw. I had Gordon that day, and I think he got me a goal. But yeah, I mean, look, I did see something about Pep's record against Iraola is also very good. Like, in fact, like, I think Iraola is just one of those coaches that is going to go toe-to-toe. He's going to have a go against teams like Liverpool, Arsenal, and City. Now, that can get him some good results. They beat Arsenal, but it might also see them take a couple of big scores the other way. So I guess I still think, Haaland's a great shout. We have had like loads of press conferences today. Like, I think the last one was Pep only in the last like 10, 15 minutes. And we have seen a few quotes from Pep saying like about various injuries. Like Semenyo, it was a knock, it was a strong one, but it's not fractured. He's clearly a doubt though. We've seen him say, let me see if I can get, on the depleted squad, we know the situation. What can we do? Try to recover as quickly as possible, and we'll see. It doesn't sound great. Tomorrow you'll know it. When he says on the injury situations, you'll see the list. I have many doubts. Most of them are doubts, half and half. Tomorrow you'll know. So I think all those players like Gvardiol, Akanji got warm in the warm-up. Gvardiol we saw go down. Doku and Grealish we knew were out anyway. Semenyo, don't know.
Because he had a baby.
He did have a baby. His wife had a baby. His partner
had a baby. He did not have a baby.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dylan's just said, I'm going to go and play Roblox. Bye, Dad. Bye, Dylan. Enjoy your game, mate. Thanks for watching for 5 minutes.
Concentration span on YouTube these days. If we get people tuning in longer than 5 minutes, we've done well, haven't we?
We have done, mate. Especially this next gen that we got coming through. They're gone after 5 minutes. I mean, I haven't checked out exactly what is with Grealish, but obviously, like there has been a baby as well. So, got a lot going on at Man City. Got issues with Kyle Walker as well. In his private life. It's been a complicated start to the season for Pep managing this Man City team. So, that's very interesting. Whoa, look at this big orange box that we've got coming onto our screen, mate. Whoa, $20.
That is big, but it's our biggest ever super chat. That is so generous.
That is like, wow, that's proper money. That's proper money, mate. Thank you.
Yeah. That is too generous. You Americans are flush, aren't you? You know, it's because everything's expensive there. I guess $20 that's like me having
$20 is like a quid.
It's like the pound I put in my Audi trolley this morning. It's the same gesture.
$20 note in it.
ZM Storm, he's 31st in our Chasing Green Arrows mini league. That is impressive.
Whoa, that is really impressive
this year because we must have a couple of thousand in there, I'm guessing. Oh, even Chai be lurking. Yes, FPL Chai. Good to see you as well, Matt. I know you've been working hard recently, so we've not seen you a huge amount on YouTube or WhatsApp or Twitter, but good to see you're still in the mix. It sounds like Holly is about to do a bit of a raid because loads of people, including Shiraz, are saying the words Captain Salah. Now, I expect Holly has given instruction to do that, which must mean, and Holly is in the chat, is Holly captaining Mo Salah? Holly, let us know if you're going through with that move, because I do think if you own him, then Mo Salah is a great captain this week. I think he's the number 1 captain. Holly, do you even own Salah? Let us know. And guys, if you're not already following Holly Shand, for those that aren't coming over from her stream, make sure you give her a follow. Bringing him in with 3 free transfers for Foden. Okay, Holly's making the move. So Holly is selling Haaland then, I expect. Big man might be doing
becoming
the
a differential,
yeah, he is.
Like,
loads of content creators are selling Haaland, I think.
If that many people are jumping off Haaland at the moment, then that's pretty wild. She says close to 500 subs on FPL Green Room, by the way. Well done.
That I've just put FPL Green Room in. That is the account to follow. I'm instructed. Definitely follow. I've heard they're brilliant over FPL Green Room. Give them a sub. So Holly, let us know your moves if you can. We'll bring it up on screen so we can talk about your moves. If you're looking at 3 moves, Foden out for Salah, where are you getting the money from? I'm guessing, is it Haaland to Cunha, I guess? Big man's looking at Haaland to Jimenez. And then obviously I want to know that third move as well. That's aggressive FPL from Holly. I like that.
That really is aggressive. Yeah, that is a bold move to make on a Friday, isn't it?
Yeah. No wonder she had 1,000 people watching.
Yeah, no wonder. I mean, it's a nice play. Well done, Holly.
Oh, here we go. We'll put it up on screen. Holly Shan's comment. We'll try and put it on screen now. And we'll discuss her moves. See what me and Dean think.
Yeah. What do you actually think of that Liverpool-Brighton fixture, though? Like, as a fixture, like, what are we actually expecting from it? Like, because Liverpool aren't winning that game like 4-0 or something. So what is the expectation, do you think?
Brighton will do what they did at Stamford Bridge, which is play ridiculously the same way that they do against anyone. Like Brighton will play the same way against Ipswich as they did against Chelsea, which was the passing out from the back, and they kept making errors, and Chelsea kept scoring. But I think that game was 3-2, maybe, or 4-2. I can't remember. There was loads of goals, and I feel like Liverpool will win, and it could be high scoring because Brighton defence is vulnerable, and especially if Lewis Dunk is out. I don't know if we've got an update on that. I'll try and
4-2 it was, yeah, 4-2.
4-2. So that was full of errors, both from both teams trying to pass out. I mean, Liverpool are a bit more disciplined, though, aren't they? Like Liverpool under Slot aren't Liverpool under Klopp.
Much more disciplined. The thing is, Salah is really hard to judge, I think, so far this season, because I don't think he's playing that well. Like, I'm not like that impressed with him most of the time. Like, some of his actual balls in the final third have been atrocious. I don't know if you've seen like some of the like balls to the far post or like some of his decisions. It hasn't been that good. But then at the same time, he'll just come up with these little moments and you're like, oh, that was so nice. Like, oh, how did he do that? So,
and then when he does, he gets the bonus points. Like last week, he was
get the
anonymous.
bonus,
and then he goes and gets that late equaliser for Liverpool, or whatever it was, to make it 2, or I can't even remember. And it's like, oh, that wasn't a 5-point goal. It was an 8-point goal because he gets the bonus. So Holly's moves, I think we'll see. Thank you, VJ, for the super chat. Holly's bringing in. I like these moves. I tell you what, I can't argue with any of these moves. So we'll bring it back up on screen. Foden to Salah. Sure, that's a big upgrade. Gabriel to Ryan Aït-Nouri, I think a good move considering Aït-Nouri's goal scoring form and the fact Wolves have got great fixtures and it gives us some money. And then Colwill does feel like one of Holly's few errors on wildcard was she bought Colwill in. And Chelsea defence is just rubbish. Yeah, I think we can all go. Just you don't need a Chelsea defender.
Yeah, so absolutely.
Van den Berg of Brentford just as an enabler that will sit on her bench, I guess, at 4 million.
Yeah. Somebody just mentioned about Salah's record against Brighton. Yes, Ashant said about it. By the way, VJ, thank you for the sticker, mate. Thank you for the pound. Really appreciate it, mate. Appreciate that. Big man's here. I'll talk about this in 1 second. Hello, mate.
Hi, Dean. Hi, Janny. Hello, welcome to all the listeners and viewers.
Big man, you will be pleased to know. Big man, we're going to show you Holly's moves because you might be thinking on similar moves. Holly has just streamed and given us a very generous raid, and her raid was called Salah Captain. So I was like, wait a sec. Holly hasn't even got Salah. So she's bringing Salah in to captain him. And these are the moves she is making. Very nice. And guys, if you are watching over from the Holly Shan channel, make sure you're subscribing to both Holly and to Chasing Green Arrows. So just check if you fancy Chasing Green Arrows. We stream live after Holly on a Friday, every Friday at 2 p.m. So what do you make of these moves, big man? Foden to Salah, Gabriel to Ray and Aït-Nouri. I mean, they are two very popular buys this week, Salah and Aït-Nouri. And then obviously an enabler in Van den Berg.
Yeah, hi, Holly. Firstly, thank you for the raid. I mean, the first thing that this tells me about Holly is that she's pretty rich because most people who are looking to buy Salah are actually downgrading Haaland. But she has enough funds to perhaps get Salah by just through maybe 1 or 2 downgrades, which don't exactly even seem like big downgrades.
Yeah.
I can see she's probably looking for a Salah plus Haaland structure, which is quite different to what most people are doing who are jumping on Salah.
Yeah, we said in the week, we can't justify having both. Too many compromises, but Holly's gone, no, I can actually make that work. And players like Van den Berg, and maybe she's got great team value. I mean, she's having a good season, so I expect she's got better team value than us, which maybe make it easier. But Dean, you've got both Salah and Haaland, and your experience of owning both hasn't had a huge amount of compromise. Again, you're having a better season than me and Big Man.
I mean, you're both right up behind me now. Like, I've been slowly dwindling, so there's not a lot in it now. Probably like 30 points or something. But I have got both Salah and Haaland, and I guess I should probably captain Salah. But now the fact that everybody's dropping Haaland for Salah makes me more tempted to captain Haaland just for fun because it doesn't seem like many people are going to be doing it. And as I say, he's playing against Bournemouth, but it's this Salah record against Brighton, isn't it? That's probably niggling away at people too. 16 games against Brighton, 9 goals, 7 assists. It's a good record, and sometimes I ignore these trends, and sometimes I'm like, there's something in this, and I feel like this is probably one you can trust. But what's the maximum output on both? I get that's what you obviously weigh up. Is he either going to get a hat trick? I can't see a hat trick from either of them, to be honest. What we get is upside 2 goals. Is that, you think, the best we're going to get?
Yeah, I think so. Which I guess you take.
You definitely take, yeah. And I guess you think that Salah's got a better chance of scoring 2 than Haaland does against Bournemouth.
I just think Liverpool score more than. I just think Liverpool have a higher ceiling in that fixture than City do, knowing the City injuries, knowing City are away, but Liverpool are at home. I think the home advantage. I don't know. I like backing a home player more often than not. Big man, what's your take there? Salah versus Haaland for captaincy if you own both.
I think it's very marginal. I think Salah is marginally better, but I don't think it's that big that I necessarily think that Salah can get a hat trick and Haaland can't. I think Haaland can hold in any fixture. Yeah. And it's Bournemouth at the end of the day. I mean, Bournemouth play expansive football. It won't surprise me if Haaland did really well. Why I'm sort of leaning towards making that move is not because of this week, but it's a combination of, let's say, 6 to 7 weeks. It's a spell where I see Salah outscoring Haaland by enough, and that extra money going a long way to possibly justify the Haaland sale, right? So it's a transfer that I'll judge after 6 weeks as opposed to just this week. I think this week for people who have Salah and Haaland, I'd probably captain Salah, but it's not the end of the world if you just have Haaland or don't have Salah. Then you can easily captain Haaland. I think Haaland is a fine choice.
Yeah, we've done a poll in the chat. Let us know what you think. There has been loads of press conferences today. Just a very quick roundup. I mean, I've just looked on the Fantasy Football Scout Twitter page. It's a great resource to scroll through. But they've said Eze will miss 2 games. That's big for Eze owners. He's clearly now a sell. I think Fulham, Lukic is still out. That's kind of all the news there. Sam Johnson's back fit for Wolves. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back in at number 1. I expect he will. Chelsea have got everyone fit other than Jadon Sancho can't play against his parent club. So Pedro Neto will start again, by the way. 6.2 million midfielder Pedro Neto. Mickey van der Ven is out till after the international break. Son should be okay. I guess they're the biggest ones. And then obviously the Man City names we know about. Pep's been really coy on that. Isak and Gordon both had niggling injuries and will be assessed.
Blimey, you can't leave both of those out, can you?
They're literally the attack, aren't they? Josh Murphy's just probably not going to cut it. Is it Josh Murphy? Jacob Murphy, sorry. He's not going to cut it.
Why are you trusting his words at face value?
I mean, Mikel Arteta also said that Gabriel will be in the squad, by the way. That was the other big news.
He's probably starting and captain them.
Yeah. I think Gabriel is definitely going to start. I'd be surprised if he didn't. And I think clean sheet odds now for Arteta, for Gabriel, off the back of Isak and Gordon possibly having a knock, even if they start, Arsenal are a top-tier defence. They can go to St James's and keep a clean sheet. I think selling Gabriel is very dangerous. Holly's made that move, and it facilitates Mo Salah, so great. But ordinarily, I would say absolutely don't sell Gabriel in a one-off move.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely valid. What do you think in terms of the third striker this week? Did a little video on the members section. If you're not with us in the members section, remember you can upgrade at any time. We'd appreciate to have you over there. And I basically came to the conclusion that Matheus Cunha would be. If I was to, I haven't made a transfer this week at the moment. If I was to make one, it would probably be Calvert-Lewin out, Cunha in. Is that where you would go? I mean, there's a lot of options there. I mean, in the video I listed like Larson, Wood at 6.4, Welbeck, Raul, Visser, Vardy, Evan Nielsen, Delap, Duran. Like, there's a lot of options out there, right?
You've mentioned the 2 that me and Big Man like as well. My number 1 is Visser, and Big Man, let's start with you. Yours is Jimenez, or was Jimenez. Still the same? Still the same?
Yeah, it still is. It still is. And I'm actually very curious to hear Dean's thoughts regarding Raul, because as a Fulham fan, we actually discussed this, Dean, just to give you a rundown of what we discussed the other day. We said that we looked at the numbers. Raul's numbers were actually much better than Cunha's. Fulham as an attacking team have been head and shoulders above Wolves. They create more chances. The fixtures are like Wolves have a more sustained run of fixtures, but for people with Rodgers as the eighth attacker, Raul works really well in the rotation with Rodgers. So we're actually very keen to hear your thoughts on Raul, because the key point is that he allows for a zero point 0.8 million saving over someone like a Cunha. So do you think that Cunha is 0.8 million better than him?
If the thing is, I would look at Cunha as well. For obviously, this run of fixtures that they've got up to December, I think you would just leave him in the team. So I think over that period of time, then yeah, you'd get a better return out of Cunha. I do wonder if Raul might be on penalties now after Andreas missed that last one. Like, that was such a poor pen. Andreas cannot be on pens after that one. And Raul has this pattern at the moment where he'll blank for one game and then score. Like, he's not going more than one game without scoring at the moment, Jimenez. And that stretches back to August in terms of his appearances. So, if I had to make a choice for this 1 week out of Raul and Cunha, I'd still go Cunha.
And to be fair, a lot are. I think he is the popular choice this week.
Fulham Brentford's such a hard game to predict. It's like, it's a massive fixture, like in that part of the world. That is the derby of the season. And the only thing I guess that does work in its favour is it can be quite a high scoring game. It's usually like pretty end to end. So that might suit Raul getting us. What I do like about Raul is that he's very opportunistic at the moment, and he's getting his shots away quickly, and he's very inventive in what he's coming up with, and he'll score from all sorts of different types of goal. So I definitely wouldn't be putting anyone off of signing Jimenez instead of Cunha. Like you say, like there is a vast difference there in terms of value. If I was signing someone for long term, I'd sign Cunha. If I was signing someone this week, I'd edge towards Cunha, but I completely understand if you wanted to go Raul, and I think it'd be fine. I'm so cautious because it's Fulham Brentford, and
even last year you didn't want to buy Muniz. You didn't want to buy Muniz when he was banging in the goals because you were like, I just don't like buying.
Because he's not very good. That's why I don't want to pick him.
Thanks, you were great. You'd seen him live too many times, but I get that.
Dean has been proven right eventually, because Muniz is nowhere close to being anywhere near the Fulham 11 now. So I can see why he was skeptical. It was clear that he was in a sort of a purple patch, and as soon as that ended,
that's the thing. Sometimes when you're at the games, and this is one thing I'm missing at the moment by being out here, is that you get a different feel for it, and you see other stuff that you don't catch on TV. And Muniz, obviously, I want him to be a success. I really like him. Dylan's got Muniz 9 on the back of his new Fulham shirt that arrived the other day. He loves him. But he's not a Premier League number 9. I can't believe he's got the number 9, to be honest. Like, Raul is better than him, undoubtedly so. But
and regarding his minutes, Dean, do you think Raul can miss the odd game in the festive period?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Congestion's not as bad as it used to be, though, is it, this year?
I don't think it's as big a problem for him. Like, he's been keeping himself in really good shape. And I think actually during his last layoff, like, it was a bit of a wake-up call for him in terms of realising, like, where he's at in his career, it might be like a last chance situation for him. And you see how he's taking it both hands with Mexico. He's taking it both hands with Fulham at the moment. He doesn't want to let go of this moment. And so there is that. Is Cunha on penalties for Wolves, do we think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Sarabia played 45 minutes in the previous game.
Oh, did he? Is Sarabia back now? I didn't realise Sarabia was back on the pitch. Okay.
Yeah. So Sarabia is expected to actually start this week, and if he does, then Cunha might not be on pens as long as he's on the pitch. That's the caveat, right?
Yeah. That was one of the things that was leading me towards Cunha if he was on pens, and it was looking like earlier on in the week that he probably would be on pens. So it's a toss-up, isn't it? It's a tough one.
The worst Jimenez fixtures in terms of condensed periods, by the way, is a Sunday, Thursday, Sunday turnaround over Christmas, 22nd, 26th, 29th. So it looks fine for him. Johan Visser, guys, is my preferred budget forward if I was shopping in that category. I do think Cunha probably, if they were the same price, I'd go Cunha over Visser. But given the fact you save 0.67, whatever it is, I really like Johan Visser. And I don't know if it's the best entry point. Like Fulham away is tough, but as Dean says, that game can go either way and it could have goals. But I do quite rate the Fulham defence at home. But after that, they've got a couple of good fixtures. I think it's Bournemouth at home. I just like the fact that Brentford are a team that keep clocking high XG, and they're fifth for XG in the league so far this season. And I think they're joint third for total goals. Now, we've all got Mbeumo in our team. Therefore, doesn't usually count big in terms of gains if we've all got him. I think Mbeumo plus Visser for Bournemouth, Everton, Leicester after this week could be the play. And my plan is to sell Calvert-Lewin next week, give Calvert-Lewin one more game. If he blanks again with Southampton, looks bad, he's out. He goes to West Ham whilst Visser is at home to Bournemouth. So I think I'm going to give Calvert-Lewin one more week, but I definitely want Visser in. Chris, thank you so much for the super chat.
Wow, I'm making a fortune today.
Yeah. What do we think? What do we think to this, Dean? You got a.
Who'd you go for from the list? Damsgaard, no. Garnacho, Rashford.
I think I go Garnacho.
Yeah, I like that. I agree with Big Man there. Garnacho.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously like this is a big chance for him. We're not sure how he actually fits into the Ruben Amorim plan because of the tactical differences that are going to exist in terms of the lineup. But Garnacho is definitely looking like a nice fixture. A nice pick for this fixture. I've got Dibbling, but that's just because it was a toss-up between him and Morgan Rogers for me, and I'm taking a bit of a punt and going Dibbling based on the fixture. I've got Buonanotte, but Rashford, still don't trust him. I think probably Garnacho for me as well, actually, from that list. Big Man, how are you feeling about Bruno? Give us a little recap on how your emotions have been this week, mate, and how you now feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's been positive. The early signs are encouraging. So I'm looking forward to the weeks to come. I mean, I was actually speaking to Janny in the previous show regarding this as well. And I mentioned that, I mean, I feel better, but what sort of annoys me is the fact that I still expect Bruno to post good underlying data, similar to what he was doing previously. But now he might actually return, and some of those chances might go in, and everyone will be like, new manager bounce. Well, it's just actually going to be just variance instead, right? So it wasn't that Bruno was playing terribly under Ten Hag from an attacking perspective. I think he was creating chances. He was missing big chances, but at least he was getting them, right?
The finishing was dreadful, I thought, but yeah.
The finishing was dreadful. The whole team was missing chances left, right, and center. Now I think it's about time that the finishing will go up, and so might Bruno's returns. Actually, I think there's actually a big dearth of midfielders when you look at it, because when you look at, let's say, Salah, Palmer, those the likes of those, they're clear, like Son even, right? But then when you look at the budget midfielders, you have Mbeumo, Rogers. But now Eze is injured. Foden's not really been a very clear-cut option. We're actually struggling to find midfielders who we like. It's very difficult. So that's why I think Bruno is actually one of the more interesting ones. Even if you put my bias aside, like generally there are not too many midfielders that I like right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point. It was interesting. Like he did look better, obviously, in midweek, but it's Carabao Cup, it's Leicester, whatever. I am intrigued to see what we get from him out of Amorim, to see exactly where he does play. If it is like Haaland is the front man, and then there's two players just off of him, then that obviously would definitely increase Bruno's output, certainly the XG around him too. But I'm not convinced that Amorim can just come into Man United and start playing this new formation.
We all thought we'd get that with Ten Hag. Like we saw these great tactical videos of Ten Hag, and he came
with this great philosophy, right, and great ideas, and thought all this stuff was going to happen. Then he got to Man United, and was like, "Oh, they're not capable of doing it. I'm going to have to do something else."
Harry Maguire can't pass out from the back. Like you've got a lot of passengers.
That's it. So, for example, if Yoro's not fit when Amorim comes in, straight away you've got this call on the defensive three, be like, because Maguire might not be fit either, be like, have we even got three centre backs, and are they definitely capable of playing a back three? It's plausible that they're not. You haven't got a proper left wing back.
They've not got out and out wing backs. I mean, I like Diogo Dalot a lot, and I think he's good going forward, but I can't tell you many times he's played as an out and out wing back.
I just don't know that he'll be able to implement this quickly, and I think it might take a little while to get going. But it'll be really interesting to see, and I'm excited to see it. Christian says United need to sign Ryan 8 Nori in January. I actually wrote about that a couple of days ago.
Did
Liverpool,
you?
yeah,
It's actually a rumor about his future. 8 Nori. He's playing that well. I guess when you're a defender scoring goals, you people take note.
Well, Liverpool want him as well, and I think that they're both cautious of the fact that if one gets in there first, then that moment is gone. But Wolves value him like high, like it's going to be 40 million plus, like what they're valuing him at. He's actually done well under Gary O'Neill. I think Gary O'Neill's got the best out of him, but I have to wait to see whether that interest actually comes to anything positive.
Guys, we want to see our team, so stay tuned. We've got over 500 of you watching. Thank you so much for your support. We do this every Friday. If you want to show your support, the best way of doing that is to subscribe to the channel, and obviously the like is always good. The like, they're our friends, those buttons. Let's see the teams then. We are looking like we're going to be making some moves here, big man. You needed some good news for your defenders to possibly consider a Haaland out move. And today we've heard that Gabriel will be in the squad. He's Gabriel starting without doubt. I'm sure he is. And Rico Lewis, we think will be fine. Mikalenko is obviously fit, and Pedro Porro, I think we think is good too. So I guess your defensive issues that you were worried about possibly aren't there any longer. Do we know about Dunk?
Yeah, basically. Dunk was supposed to be assessed. He wasn't really pictured in training, so I'm not expecting him to be fit. I don't really want him to be fit either, especially if I go to Salah. I want that defense to be depleted. Yeah. But I mean, ideally, I was hoping that one of Lewis or Gabriel would make it, and it looks like both will be fine. So I'm actually in a decent position, injury-wise, heading into the week. I think I've made my mind. I will be selling Haaland and I'll be getting Salah.
Go on, come on! Mate. There we go. Look at that.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. It's and I'm
this
also
is
sure
unlike
that I'm
you to come on with such a direct plan. You know, usually you're a hour to deadline kind of manager.
Yeah, but I've been thinking about it all week.
Holly's inspired you.
Having sort of looked at it, I mean, I don't think there's more than one game week in which I'd be captaining Haaland till game week 16. So I'm sort of all right going without him.
Yeah.
I mean, game week 14 is the only one which sort of worries me when Haaland has Forest at home. But even that is a week where Palmer has Southampton away. So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to sort of take the risk. I think Salah is required at this point because he's the optimal captain in most weeks. The big question for me was which budget forward to get. I think I'll get Raul. I think I'll probably move tonight actually because Raul is gonna rise in price. He was very close last night, but yeah, he's very likely gonna rise tonight. So I think Raul will be my Haaland replacement.
Yeah.
I am still not 100% sure on which budget midfielder to sell though, and this is where I want you guys to sort of help me with my decision. So it has to be one of Rodgers or Semenyo who I sell for Salah. Which one would you sell and why?
Dean?
Personally, I would sell Rodgers. I think he's a great player. I've said a lot, but I just don't think he's going to get you the returns that Semenyo will. Semenyo, I still feel has a bigger upside week on week. Yeah, it's a tough decision, but my hunch would be Rodgers. Yeah, I'd take Rodgers out.
Rodgers,
you're clearly not seen chasing green arrows this season.
I love I'm going to go with this as the headline here. Big man's transfer decisions, game week 10. Big man sells Haaland before Bruno. That's the headline. like they're worth the same amount of money, and you can get salary if you sell Bruno. But still, I might tweet that for some easy likes. Rodgers over Semenyo for me, mate. I also your selling price for Rodgers is what 5.2. What's your selling price for Semenyo? What's the price difference?
That's correct. It's a 0.4 million difference.
0.4. If they were the same price, I think I'd still just be Rodgers. But the fact it's 0.4 extra for you if you sell Semenyo. I like Rodgers long term. I just think he's the best budget mid in the game for where he plays for the team he plays for.
So you'd sell Semenyo and you'd keep Rodgers, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be your 8th attacker anyway, so you don't need to worry the fact that they've got tricky fixtures the next couple of weeks, because they're going to, more often than not, they're going to be first sub. You're not even going to rotate them much with Raul Jimenez, are you?
The thing is, if I was getting Cunha, I wouldn't be that bothered about the rotation and all. But with Jimenez, I'm actually looking at a rotation because there are 1 or 2 rough fixtures for Fulham in between.
Right.
But both rotate equally well. I mean, Semenyo works well as well. Rodgers works well with Raul too. So I guess I'm just currently leaning towards what Janny just said, because like 0.4 million could come in handy at some point. And if I'm just not sure who the better option is, I might as well go with the cheapest possible combination.
Yeah, I mean, I made this call in game week 6 or 7. I had to sell Semenyo or Rodgers for dibbling to create some funds, and I chose to get rid of Semenyo. So I guess I've gone through with that. I don't know what the right call is. I think it's a toss up. Semenyo's shot volume is so good, higher than Rodgers is. But I just like the position Rodgers plays where he's off Watkins. It does feel like a strike partnership between Rodgers and Watkins at the moment.
Yeah, I actually.
Semenyo's also 4 yellows, by the way, Janny.
Say again.
Semenyo's also on 4 yellows.
Oh, is he? Okay, yeah. But you ain't. Yeah. So is that, players like Aït-Nouri are on the 4 yellows too, and you'll get a 1-match ban. But I think, I don't mind too much about that. Dean, what were you saying?
I can't remember. No idea.
I'm with Dean. Semenyo's the better assets as Barragaz. We'll do a poll: Semenyo or Rodgers? Just straight out, Semenyo or Rodgers. You can only have one. I think it's probably be pretty 50-50. So, big man, that'll be your 2 moves. Very likely it will be one of those mids out for Salah, and you're pretty set on Jimenez now. So yeah, Jimenez out for the big man Erling Haaland.
Yeah, and that would also allow me then to have enough in the bank to potentially get Trent for Lewis or Dunk or anyone of the defenders next week. So that would easily allow Trent. That's why I like the flexibility that this combination is offering.
Yeah, I like that. My eyes aren't always on the chat. I clearly missed the fact we've already done that poll and it was exactly 50-50. So there we go. Yeah, I know.
I was hoping for a more conclusive call.
Yeah, it is a tough one. I mean, in terms of eye test, when I watched Semenyo versus Arsenal, I just sold him ahead of that Arsenal fixture, and I was like, oh my God, he could have had 3. I could have had 3. So he is really good. I'm here for Janny's rank. Thanks, Gothic. My rank starts with a 2 and ends with a million. And I'm fine with that in game week 10. We'll chat ranking later in the season, and hopefully there's improvement there. All right, let's move on from Big Man's team and see mine. Fortunately, we've never shown our ranks on this channel, but we're very happy discussing them. But it's not a gimme. We're not leaving them out for a reason. We've just never put them in our templates. And guys, make sure you're joining the Chasing Green Arrows mini league. It's been a league with us 3. If you fancy it, it'll be at the bottom of your screen, I think. My team, there was a part of me that considered getting Salah in this week. It means selling Haaland. It also means a 4-point hit, and that's the big difference between me and Big Man. I think he can make the moves for free. I don't think selling Haaland for a hit works, so I'm not doing it. And I will be I'm either rolling or I'm selling Calvert-Lewin to Visser. But I think Calvert-Lewin can have, and I keep saying this, 1 more week. Dean, Southampton away. Do I hold him? I mean, you've been a Calvert-Lewin believer since day 1.
I don't know if I've been a believer. I've just been like crossing my fingers. He's getting 1 more week from me as well.
Is he?
I think because it's Southampton away, that's just what I'm just clinging on to. We watch his games and he always gets a chance. He always is right there. There's always the chance of him. There's been a couple of like penalty shouts overturned as well and things like that with Calvert-Lewin. Surely we're on the cusp of another return from Calvert-Lewin. Like he's due one. Let's just put it that way. So I just think for a fixture like this, it's just probably worth keeping him, to be honest. I'm just not confident enough in anyone else that it's going to be worthwhile. Like if I jump off of Calvert-Lewin and go to, say, Cunha, like I'm tempted to do, but then Cunha doesn't score and Calvert-Lewin gets 1, I'll just be so annoyed, and it's just such a waste of time. And I'm trying my hardest this season not to bounce around with transfers, not bounce around players. Like a lot of the team that I've got, I've had since day one. And it's not done me too bad. Obviously, I'll be wildcarding soon after international break, probably. But yeah, Calvert-Lewin owes me one. Ali Max says TCL is a terrible striker in a terrible team. He shouldn't be, though, should he? I'm not going to argue about the terrible team because Everton at times don't look like a team. But Calvert-Lewin, the points returns have just been terrible. Like, it's now... You've got to go back to game week 4 since a decent return. Like, the first 4 game weeks, it was fine. Like, he was looking like a really good purchase. But now what you get is 2, 1, 2, 2, 2 in a spell where they've played Leicester, Palace, Newcastle, Ipswich, and Fulham.
That's the thing. It's the fixtures.
That's the thing.
If you're not scoring in those fixtures, like, what's the point?
That's what's so annoying about it. Yeah, his hauls came against Aston Villa and Bournemouth, so it doesn't really make any sense. Who knows,
I love
mate?
Off-Core's comment. Have you seen Off-Core's comment? That is brilliant.
The other price less like big man Bruno. So. It's probably true, man. It's probably true. But
one more week. We're both doing it, aren't we? We'll give him Southampton.
Southampton. He looks happy. I keep looking at like Calvert-Lewin's body language, like, and he's like how he's feeling. He's always got a big smile on his face most of the time when he's like coming on and off the pitch. So I'm like, okay, he seems all right. Keep going with him.
What is your Calvert-Lewin plan, though, in the weeks to come? Because I have a rough plan of selling him for perhaps João Pedro now that he's returned to training. I think he will probably be eased back into action, but after the international break, that's when Brighton's fixtures really turn. And that's when I actually expect Pedro to keep starting. So my rough plan is possibly to sell Calvert-Lewin for João Pedro.
My plan is to get rid of both Dominics as soon as possible. Like, Solanke is gone as soon as the Ipswich... Honestly, if Solanke goes and scores a brace against Ipswich, he's still gone. Like, Solanke is dead wood to me. Calvert-Lewin can go as well. I just want that Southampton fixture. Let's see. I mean, if Calvert-Lewin scores, maybe he gets the West Ham game. But my plan is to sell both those two, and I want to create some funds. Someone like Visser is a forward I like. And when I'm thinking funds, I do like a Garnacho punt. And if I could get to Garnacho, I'd probably, like, let's see how Foden does in the next week or two. Foden is someone I could sell. But if not, I could upgrade a Rodgers to a Garnacho, for example. So watch this space there. I don't see myself making defensive transfers or goalkeeper transfers yet. We do have Fabianski back playing, by the way. So my plan was always to sell sells when the fixtures turn, like game week 12, and probably bring in Raya. But if Fabianski's part of that rotation with sells and keeps his spot, goalkeeper transfer won't be on the agenda either. I do have a bit of a dilemma this week on my bench, you could argue. Like, big man, should I be putting Mikalenko ahead of Dibbling on as first sub? We both benching Mikalenko, you and I.
I think you have it fine.
Back the attacker. And you'd start Rodgers over Dibbling?
I would, yes.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, I think I'm happy there. Okay.
No Salah plans, really?
Say again?
No Salah plans?
No. I don't think so. I mean, look, I could sell Haaland in a few weeks to get Salah, but there are no ways I can get Salah easily unless I'm selling Haaland. And I feel like if I'm not doing it this week, when I do think Salah is the best captaincy option, I'm probably not going to be able to do it. But let's see. Maybe things change so quickly in FPL. Having 2 free transfers next week, you never know. But I think I'll be going without Mo. I'm not willing to rip up my team for him, I don't think. Oh, by the way, I am interested in possibly another Chelsea player. But again, after the Arsenal fixture for Leicester away, like if Pedro Neto is still in the team starting at 6.2 million, I could go Rodgers to Neto. I could even go Solanke to Jackson. So let's think about that. Dean, let's see your team.
Mm-hmm.
And Dean, what's your take with the extra Chelsea players?
Neto, like... It just depends. I think it will depend on the opponent, on what he does with Neto, because like he's just such a different outlet to Jadon Sancho. But like you can't overlook like the speed at which Chelsea scored that goal and the fact that Palmer has that ball in his locker to play through to Neto. Like Sancho's never catching that in a million years. Like he wouldn't have even be looking for that pass. So it's a new way of playing, really, if you're going to play Neto in that role. Madueke is the more sensible choice in the Chelsea attack. Like, I think he might be Maresca's favourite player, Madueke.
Yeah,
Like, he plays him every single week. I thought Madueke's spot would be in danger for Neto, but nope, it's Jadon that's gone. So, Ali Max says, I've just sold Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It feels like I've just showered. I love that comment.
That's great.
That's very good. Look, my team on paper looks fine. I'm like more than happy with it. I just have absolutely no idea what that means anymore. Could just mean I get 48 points. David Raya, I don't even want to talk about. He's been awful for me ever since I brought him in. I should probably get rid of him if I'm totally honest, because I don't even think he'll get me any points this week. I just don't know if it's worth it. Maybe I will. But in terms of the outfield players, I'm just leaving it, to be honest. Like I say, there's been some temptation to bring in Cunha. I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm going to play Dibbling over Rodgers. Dibbling is one of my favourite players to watch, apart from his shin pads, which I'm very concerned about Dibbling's shins.
They're smaller than Grealish's, aren't they?
They are the smallest shin pads I think exist in the world, and I'm very worried about one day when he gets a whack on them. So yeah, look out for Dibbling's shins. But apart from that, he's brilliant. And if I'm going to have Dibbling, when am I going to play him? I'm going to play him at Everton at home, because one of the few games this season Southampton might actually do something. And when they play well, Southampton, he is their best player. So yes, I'm playing Dibbling over Rodgers, even though I do think that Aston Villa go and get a result against Tottenham this weekend. Like
Tottenham without Van de Ven.
I know my team doesn't really reflect this at all, given that I've got Solanke and Porro in the team and Rodgers on the bench. But I actually think Villa win like 2-1 at Tottenham or something. So I just found that the approaches to the Carabao Cup to be very enlightening, because Unai Emery doesn't care about the trophies, like domestic cups. He wants to be in the Champions League positions again, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Postecoglou is like now caught in this like Tottenham zone where it's like must win a trophy, must year all the years of hurt. And he's just like, okay, I'll do what you want. And like puts everything in, beats Man City, fair enough. But now half the team are probably exhausted because they've just put everything into beating Man City in the Carabao Cup. They've got a couple of injury problems that are on the back of that. And Aston Villa have actually rested most of their best players for the Carabao Cup, because Emery just, honestly, he doesn't care about it. I think he cares more about finishing fourth than he does doing well in the Champions League, if I'm honest. But for him, that's all that matters. European football is what gets you to your end goal of being like one of the dominant sides in the league. And so I think that what they did in midweek will pay off for Aston Villa. So the more I'm talking here, the more I'm thinking, what am I doing having Rodgers on the bench? But that's where he's going to sit for now, unless I have a last minute plan of action. Maybe I should. No, I'm going to say maybe I should bring Rodgers to the team and put Calvert-Lewin on the bench, but that'll be a mistake.
That would be surely.
Shax, Dean doesn't have Mbeumo. I don't have Mbeumo. Is there absolutely no chance I'm buying him this week when he's playing against Fulham on Monday? I'm not cheering an Mbeumo goal against my team.
Oh, it's Monday. It's
Monday night, mate. It's Monday night, Fulham Brentford.
Interesting. Okay. Guys, that is our team sections. We are here to answer your questions and any deadline-ish dilemmas you have. So get your questions in the chat. Dean, looking forward to us being a little bit more creative next week, because we're going to have more free transfers, you and I, to perhaps mix things up. It looks like we're being quite conservative this week. Yet a big man is completely opposite with his pursuit of Mo Salah. Very, very good. Raya or Fabianski this week? Big man, I'll come to you.
I think Raya. I'd play Raya in most weeks, simply because he's playing for a much better defense.
Yeah, Arsenal defense. So they're gonna be, over the course of the season, they're gonna be top 2, and they were head and shoulders above everyone last year. Do not forget that. As a replacement, if you can move up to Mbeumo, then sure do. If you want to go down, I like Garnacho. I like Pedro Neto. Any other names, you guys, for sort of budget to midfielders?
I think Garnacho is the one who stands out for me.
Yeah. Mateus Nunes, anyone?
Mate, I think Mateus Nunes is interesting. He's going to be playing on the left side of the attack this weekend. Like,
Yeah.
he'll be up there. The thing is, I think he's more in there because he can carry out a role rather than like actually be that much of a threat. I mean, I know he got on the score sheet, and I like the way he arrived at the far post and stuff. But there was a couple of other opportunities that he very much wasted in that game.
Natural position, clearly.
Not his natural position, but fair play to him. He's done well since, playing in midfield or up front. He's trying to prove that he's got a future at City.
The left foot cross for the Haaland goal last week was brilliant as well. Dean, one for you. Buonanotte.
You start him or McNeil. McNeil's obviously a doubt. I'm convinced that McNeil, if he's got a chance, will just play because he's their best player and he's the most dangerous player. So, McNeil.
One for you, big man. Barragaz.
Palmer. He's right. Palmer for sure.
Yeah. Son is probably back. Is it worth bringing him in? I would say no. What we saw on Son's first game back after the international break was 69 minutes and then subbed. I think if he does start, you'll see a 60, 70 minutes. Maybe for Ipswich if you want to go short term, but let's see how fit he is for Villa. Also, I don't think Villa are the leakiest. They've conceded, but their XGC isn't that bad.
Havertz to Cunha. That's an interesting one. I mean, still Havertz though, against Newcastle, isn't it? I'd stick with Havertz for now, to be honest.
That header against Preston, by the way, was a proper centre forward goal.
Havertz having a decent season.
One for you, big man. Benching question.
Guardiol or Milinkovic? Which one to bench? Milinkovic for sure. You don't bench Guardiol.
Yeah. Burmo's price, if you ever want to know prices, check out fplstatistics.co.uk, which are pretty accurate. They've got on Burmo rising tonight. Yeah, it'll be 7.8. They've got 3 players rising tonight, including Jimenez and Burmo. And who else? Oh, no, they've got loads of players rising tonight, I think. No, they haven't. Oh, whatever. And Burmo is. One for you, Dean. I'm still on FPL stats getting sidetracked. I'll share the link in the chat and you can check out yourselves.
Word Solanke, Haaland, 1 free transfer. Transfer Solanke out for Cunha or Roll. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Get Solanke out your team. A lot of us attempted to do that anyway, and Cunha is going to pay off long term.
Semenyo or McNeil, who should I start? Is McNeil going to play? It's not confirmed yet, right?
It's not confirmed at all. No, I mean he is a doubt for the game.
I don't think he'll be risked though. If either he's going to play, let's say 70 or 80, or either he's not going to be in the squad at all. So I'd play McNeil and just have Semenyo for sub so that he can come on.
Yeah.
Sochan says Nunes and Darwin the biggest differentials this week. I mean, Darwin Nunes is a great shout, and obviously Mateus Nunes for a short term. Like you need to know with both these players, when Jota's back, when Doku and Grealish are back, they're not guaranteed starters. But if you've got a wild card and you fancy short term punts, or even Darwin for a few weeks, Jota's going to be international break. I like Darwin as a legit option. Differential captains. Let's all give one that
Haaland.
Can't be called. Yeah, let's give one that's not Palmer as well, because Palmer is a very good captaincy option too. So Darwin Nunes, yeah. Oh, you got one, Dean. Differential captain this week.
Calvert-Lewin.
Oh, wow. I don't even know what I've got.
Do not do that.
I would say, yeah. Saka. I don't know. Newcastle were really good against Chelsea in the week, but they looked dead on their feet at the final whistle. I don't know.
This team's Saka, Hall.
Lewis Hall, who's having a good season. But
Hall's having a good season, mate. I think Hall's having a good season, but that's obviously a big test. Hall being lined up for England soon, so that'll be actually a good test for him.
Mate, I was watching Hall against Chelsea in the week and went, he'd be our first choice left back.
I know. You're literally about to go and spend £30 million on someone soon.
I'd say it's similar about Livramento. I'm like, how's he not getting? You know, you could play him at left back or right back, and obviously with Reece James's injuries, but we spent 30 odd on Gusto, who's good, but Livramento and Hall would walk into the Chelsea first team squad now.
It'd be ideal.
Yeah. Best budget strikers. We've had this discussion, Harry, but we are all split. I'm on Visser, Dean's on Cunha, Big Man is on Raul Jimenez. There's very little to split them, and it's a great talking point this week. Super chat for you, Big Man. Foden to Palmer for free.
Yes, I would do this, and I would keep Calvert-Lewin. I won't take a hit to sell him. In fact, I won't sell him. I mean, even if you have one free and if you have DCL, I won't sell him. I'd just save the transfer.
Yeah, fair. Thank you guys for all your questions. That was fun.
That's great.
Yeah, hopefully everyone is well set for game week 10. If you've still got deadline dilemmas and you're unsure, then you can follow us all on Twitter. You can comment on the video below and we'll get back to you. If you're just tuning in, go back and rewatch. I'll be doing a deadline stream tomorrow if anyone fancies it on my channel. Don't think I'll do a stream tonight. So yeah, guys, that's been awesome. Big luck to Big Man for going Salah over Haaland. That's going to be great. I really hope it in a way pays off, but obviously I own Haaland, so not too much. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to discuss in the future weeks. Remember, we've got one more week before the international break. Before we go, any final thoughts from you both? Dean, I'll come to you first.
My final thought for the week is I'm going to be sticking to Haaland as captain. That is my final thought.
Okay.
I've been like waiting to see if I would change my mind over the course of this hour, knowing that so many people were going Salah. But you know what? I said I'd just set and forget on Haaland, and it would just be an easy decision that would pay off over the course of the season. So I'm sticking to it. Haaland's captain.
Yeah. Big Man?
I just hope Haaland goes easy on me because his collective ownership. I'm not going to be watching the Bournemouth City game tomorrow.
Oh, there we go. On that bombshell, guys, we'll say our goodbyes. If you want to show your support, you've enjoyed the show, click the subscribe button on your way out, and we will see you for another stream. I think we'll probably still be doing a Monday stream before Monday Night Football, so before Fulham Brentford. You can catch us on CGA, and we'll be back on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.